Travis Reier, the BamaOnline.com staff, checking in from the press box at Bryant-Denny Stadium, where the white team just knocked off the Crimson team in a high-scoring affair, 7-3. The white team gets it done. A late touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts to Derek Keefe in the fourth quarter proved to be the winning score. The Crimson team did put together a last-second drive, went all the way down inside the red zone of the white team, but an interception by Ronnie Harrison of Cooper Bateman ended that scoring opportunity, and the white team will eat steak. 7-3 winners over the Crimson. In case you're wondering, the white team actually consisted of the first team defense, second team offense, while the Crimson team was made up of the first team offense and the second team defense. And when you look at the numbers, obviously a tough day for the offenses, which you kind of expected coming in, because that white team with the first team defense, Ryan Anderson, Tim Williams, looking at stats for those guys, they were as good as you thought they would be. Tim Williams virtually unblockable in this game, was outstanding throughout as a pass rusher. You talk about sacks, tackles for loss. Tim Williams with 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hurries officially on the stats. But both teams got a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, and let's be honest, as spring games go, this was about as plain and ordinary as one that you'll see. I think we saw 2 smoke screens, which we all know is a very big part of the Alabama offense. Both of those in the second half, one to Dalen Charlotte for the white team, which was a positive play, and then another for Calvin Ridley of the Crimson team later in the half that also went for positive yardage. Didn't see any jet sweeps. Didn't see O.J. Howard. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some stuff built into the offense for number 88 when the ball rolls around. So, again, very basic, very plain, but defense ruled the day for the most part. I thought the white offense, the second team offense, with Blake Barnett and Jalen Hurts at quarterback, did some good things. I really like the second team offensive line. When you look at Damian Harris, the tailback with the game he had nearly 100 yards in the first half, finished with 114 on 20 carries, averaged 5.7 a carry. So I thought the second team offense did some really good things in the run game. And I thought some of the playmakers at the receiver positions for the white team offense, and tight end Miller Forrestall, an early enrollee at tight end, 8 catches for 53 yards. Keefe had the game-winning touchdown catch, had 5 catches for 58. Cam Sims, at one of the highlight plays of the scrimmage in the first half, made a super grab over on the sideline, got a foot down. He looks totally healthy after the knee injury last year. He had 3 for 66. So some good things in terms of playmakers. And then eventually we saw some of the frontline players for Alabama's wide receiver core make some catches and some plays late in the scrimmage. Again, Ridley showed up late, did have a drop or 2, a little surprising there. Ardarius Stewart had a big catch on that last drive to help get his team in position. But, as far as the quarterback position goes, we didn't expect anything to be settled today. We leave here today certainly feeling as if nothing was totally settled. If there were some positives, it's that turnovers were held to a minimum. Bateman had the late interception. Other than that, the 4 quarterbacks took care of the football in pretty good fashion, despite all the pressure that they faced. So those are some good things that you can sort of point to at the quarterback position, but obviously a long way to go for those guys. But ultimately, it's going to be more about the guys around them. And those easy touches that I talked about earlier in this segment, we didn't see a lot of that today. Again, no jet sweeps. We know we're going to see that. O.J. Howard with some easy touches, we're going to see that. He had 1 catch today for 7 yards. Going to be a lot more to this offense once fall rolls around than what we saw today. It's the defense. I thought Daron Payne was outstanding at the nose tackle position, just made it extremely difficult for that Crimson offense, the first team offense, to run the football at all. Dalvin Tomlinson was very good, Deshaun Hand. And we're talking about a group that didn't have Jonathan Allen today. So Bo Scarborough carries 9 times for 20 yards, had a long carry of 6 front seven was just dynamite. Sean Dion Hamilton played well next to Reuben Foster there at the inside linebacker positions, and the back end was very good. Made the plays late. Ronnie Harrison with the big interception. The corners were what you thought they would be. I thought Maurice Smith played pretty well in those nickel situations with him in there at star. So that first group feel really good. I think the defensive line depth showed up a little bit today. I thought the second team offensive line kind of had their way with that second team defensive line, with Harris rushing for over 100 yards in the ground game. But there's a lot of guys on that second team offensive line today that have played football for Alabama. J.C. Hassenauer's been around. Bradley Bozeman has started games for Alabama. Alphonse Taylor was the second team right guard today. He started 15 games last year. So I think it speaks more positively to the depth Alabama has up front on the offensive side than really the negative that you could take away from the defensive standpoint. So all things considered, everybody got out of here pretty healthy today, it looked like. That's the biggest thing. No injuries of particular note that I noticed for Alabama in the spring game, and really the spring in general, they did a pretty good job of getting through it without too many injuries of particular note. Obviously, you hate to see Richie Pettibone go down with an ACL and Ronnie Clark with an Achilles tendon, but in terms of frontline guys that they're really going to be counting on in the fall, Alabama seems to have gotten out of it in pretty good shape. So we always appreciate you checking us out here on the Facebook home for BamaOnline.com. Stay tuned to us for more coverage throughout the evening of 2016 A-Day. Charlie Potter will have you up to speed on what's going on in the post-game stuff, and I'll revisit my 5 predictions for the A-Day game. I did pick the white team, so I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoyed that Jalen Hurts toss to Derek Keith. Had a little bit of a rooting interest there. Ronnie Harrison's big interception. To me, they're Daniel Moore worthy. I mean, it's a spring game. It's a big deal. But we could talk about field goal kicking too, I guess, but we'll save that for the fall when it really, really matters. So that's going to do it from Bryant-Denny Stadium. Travis Schreier at the BamaOnline.com staff, thanking you once again for joining us here for these live video segments. It's been a lot of fun this spring. It's something we'll continue to do in the fall, and perhaps at some other times as well. You never know when we might pop up. Might get that notification. So thanks again, and look forward to talking to all of you guys and gals here in the near future.